As the title of the video implies, Bungie is going to be in massive danger, and the reason why I'm saying this now is because I'm kind of calling it ahead of time. This is to do with Bungie's current business model and how they're going to be pushing Marathon in probably the coming year, but I'm also going to be pulling a few games into this to be a comparison for it. So for example with Arc Raiders, I can't exactly discuss my real opinions on the game because obviously it's protected by an NDA, I don't really want to breach that. But what I can say is my experience of it was quite positive, and I'm looking forward to how it actually develops into a beta. But what I will discuss is the sentiment around the leaked gameplay. So when this actually leaked onto Reddit, because naturally it's going to leak somewhere, somebody's going to post footage, it's a bit silly to think somebody wouldn't. But the overall sentiment around it was quite negative, and whether that's because they changed their mind from a PvE game to make it an extraction shooter, or if it was just generally badly accepted, it does spell a bit of worry for when Marathon comes around from Bungie. Because being honest, extraction shooters haven't exactly been quite popular, apart from Tarkov, because that is pretty much the original that started it all. It does spell a lot of worry because I think Bungie is going to have their elements mixed up, being as they are stepping away from a PvE environment with what Destiny was, and now they're moving into a pure PvP kind of extraction shooter. Obviously, I think we can expect them to take a lot more care into the PvP sandbox for Marathon because, let's face it, that's the core of the game, so it's a bit daft to think they wouldn't. And when it comes to lore and storytelling and things like that, I think Bungie's going to have that nailed, which is fine, but the main concern is the actual gameplay itself. And I'm just working off assumptions here because we haven't actually had anything concrete from Bungie just yet. But the idea behind Marathon, I imagine it would be a first-person extraction shooter, so the experience I can think Bungie coming up with for Marathon is something similar to Apex Legends, but instead of having operators to go around, you'll have your own character which you can build out, and obviously you'll get custom gear because it's an extraction shooter. Naturally, there'll be gear fear in it, so there is a bigger consequence to actually dying in the game, but they've also mentioned that there's some kind of respawn system in it where you can seem to jump between clones of yourself when you die, so that's actually an interesting twist on the whole genre, but we'll just have to see how that plays. But with the negative sentiment that Arc Raiders received when they actually had gameplay leaked, it's a bit concerning to see if Marathon falls down into the same kind of area. But Bungie's worries doesn't just stop there, because there is also going to be a rival coming out for Destiny 2 eventually, and with the lack of care that Destiny 2 servers had recently, because that's all I seem to see is server issues lately, I seriously think there's going to be a major competitor in the first Descendent. Because when this came around, a lot of streamers who actually play Destiny prolifically actually went over and joined the beta. And from what I saw, a lot of them actually enjoyed the games, which is always positive for a new game to come out. Obviously, it's developed by Nexon, so there's a little bit of concern with the company there, but there is no disputing really that it's going to be a major challenge for Destiny when it actually releases. Because I think a lot of Destiny players in the minute are just getting worn down from the fact that we're tired of seeing the same old stuff, and basically the seasons are repeats. So you'll play the season solid for 6 weeks and then that's it, it's done. So unless Bungie really steps up their game in seasons, then I do think a lot of the player base is going to shift over to something like the first Descendant. And naturally, with these two things compounding, I think Bungie is going to be in some serious danger in the near future. But only time will tell in reality, because Destiny has been around for nearly 10 years now, so it's not really going to go anywhere, and the final shape is pretty much going to be the break or make for Bungie at this point. So whilst I am actually taking a break from Destiny 2, I do hope it does improve, because I would like to see Destiny survive past the final shape and see what Bungie's got cooking up. But it's kind of hard to see when there is big games coming out that can rival it. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I'm kind of curious to see what other players think about this kind of thing as well. And theoretically, would you actually be around in a year's time to see what happens past final shape? But as always, if you like the video, leave a like down below, and I shall see you all in the next one.